Hey guys, welcome back to the next part of the Kylo Ren Minecraft Pixel Art tutorial. We're going to go ahead and jump right into this by locating the 4 black walls that we have going across. That's part of this black wall outline. So let's find these 4 black walls here. We're going to go and continue that outline. So we're going to start off with the black wall. We're going to start from the left block of it. So starting from here, we're going to be placing 3 blocks going diagonal up to the left. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Let's get rid of those placements. Next, you're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the upper level to the left. That's 1, 2. And now we're going to switch over to the stone block for just a second. And we're going to be adding 1 stone block on top of the left block of these 2. So add 1 stone block there. Then you're going to be switching over to the block of coal. So switch over to the block of coal now. And we're going to start on the left side of the stone block. So starting from there, we're going to be placing 3 blocks going diagonal down to the left. So 3 diagonal. That's 1, 2, and 3. Let's get rid of those placements. Once you've done that, you're going to be placing 2 blocks going up on the left. That's 1, 2. And now we're going to start on top of these 2 block of coals. So we're going to start from, let's say, there. Starting from there, on top of the 2, we're going to be adding 3 block of coals going to the left. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So it should look like this. Then we're going to switch over to the black wall, fill in this small space right here with the black. Let's fill this in. And now we're going to switch back over to the stone block, and we're going to be adding 1 stone on the right side of these 3 block of coals. Add 1 stone block to the right, like that. And then from this 1 block, we're going to be placing 2 stones going across on the upper level to the left. That's 1, 2. Next, we're going to be switching over to the pink terracotta. So let's switch over to the pink terracotta. And we're going to start on the right side of these 2 stone blocks. Starting from there, we're going to be placing 6 blocks going diagonal down to the right. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next, we're going to be switching over to the red wall. So let's switch over to the red wall now. Alright. And now with the red wall, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the lower level to the right. That's 1, 2. And now we're going to be switching over to the nether rack. So let's switch over to the nether rack. We're going to start on the right side of the 2 reds. So starting from there, we're going to be placing 4 blocks going diagonal up to the left. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's get rid of those placements. Once you've done that, switch over to the red wall, add 1 red on the left side of this nether rack, so add 1 red there. And then place 1 red going up to the left. That's 1. And then up here, we're going to switch back over to the nether rack, and we're going to be adding 1 nether rack underneath the right block of these 3 blocks, so add 1 nether rack there. Then you're going to be switching over to the nether brick. Switch over to the nether brick. We're going to be adding 1 nether brick, or not just 1, we're going to be adding 2 nether bricks going to the left on the left side of this nether rack. So that's 1, 2 with nether brick. Then you're going to be switching back over to the nether rack, starting underneath this nether brick. We're going to be adding 5 blocks going to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now switch over to the nether brick, add 1 nether brick on the right side of these 5. So add 1 nether brick there. Once you've done that, you're going to be switching over to the nether rack, add 1 nether rack underneath this nether brick. So that's 1. Then switch back over to the red wall, add 2 red walls going to the right, so that's 1 and 2. Then we're going to be switching over to the pink terracotta, add 1 pink terracotta underneath the right block of the red, so that's 1. And then switch back over to the nether rack, add 1 nether rack on the right side of this, or not nether rack, sorry. Switch over to the red wall and add 1 red wall to the right side of this terracotta, pink terracotta, so that's 1 red wall. Alright, now we're going to be switching over to the nether brick, and underneath this black wall, starting from it, we're going to be adding 3 nether bricks going diagonal down to the left. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to be switching over to the nether rack, and we're going to be adding a nether rack on top of this 1 nether brick down here. So on top of it, add 1 nether rack, so that's 1. Then we're going to be switching over to the redstone block. So switch over to the block of redstone. And we're going to be filling in these 3 empty spaces right here with the redstone. So let's fill those in. Let's go and do that now. And it should look like this. Now, once we've done that, we're going to be switching back over to the black wall. And we're going to head back over here to the left. We're going to go back to the bottom block of these 3 block of coals that we had here going to the left. Starting from this 1 block right here. We're going to be placing 3 black walls going across on the lower level to the right. That's 1, 2, 3. And now 2 blocks going down the right. That's 1, 2. And now 2 blocks going diagonal down to the left. That's 1 and 2. And now we're going to be placing 2 sets of 2s going across on the lower level to the left. So that's 1, 2, 1 and 1, 2, 2. Now, once you've done that, we're going to start from this 1 black wall that's making contact with this 1 stone. It's directly above it. So we're going to start from here, this 1 black wall. And from it, we're going to be placing 3 black walls going up on the right. That's 1, 2, and 3. Next, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going up on the right. That's 1 and 2. And once you've done that, we're going to head back over here, back to the top block of these 3 black walls. So going back to this block. This time we're going to be going up on the left. We're going to be placing 2 blocks going at diagonal up to the left. That's 1 and 2. Let's get rid of the placement blocks. And now we're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the upper level to the left. That's 1 and 2. And these 2 blocks should be making contact with these 4 black walls that we have here going across. So I'll fly back a bit so you can see that it should look exactly like this. Now we're going to work on, let's say, all the way over here. We're going to do it somewhat in order. We're going to start from the right side all the way to the far right. We're going to work on this empty spot. And we're going to start from, let's say, at the very top of it, which is up here in this area. And we're going to start off by switching over to the stone block and adding 1 stone block on the right side of this block of coal. So add 1 stone block there. Then switch over to the terracotta, the cyan terracotta that is, and add 1 cyan terracotta on the right side. So that's 1. And then once you've done that, you're going to be switching over to the redstone and place 1 redstone on top of the terracotta. So that's 1 redstone. And then we're going to be switching over to the red wool. And then with the red wool, starting on the right side of the cyan terracotta, so starting from there, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going to the right. So that's 1 and 2. And then place 2 blocks going diagonal down to the right. That's 1 and 2. And now place 2 blocks going down the right. That's 1, 2. And now 1 block going down to the left. That's 1. Once you've done that, you're going to be switching over to the nether brick and fill in these 2 empty spaces here with nether brick. So fill that in that. And then we're going to go down here to these 2 black walls. On the left side, we're going to be adding 1 nether brick. So that's 1. And then once you've done that, you're going to be switching over to the stone block. We're going to head over here to the left a bit. Starting on the left side of this cyan terracotta, so starting from there, we're going to be placing 3 stone blocks going diagonal up to the right. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Now once you've done that, you're going to be switching back over to the terracotta. And we're going to be filling in these 2 empty spaces here and here with these, the pink terracotta. Let's fill this in. And it should look exactly like this. Now we're going to switch back over to the stone block. Let's head over here to the left. Going to these 2 black walls on the right side, we're going to be adding 1 stone block. So that's 1. And now we're going to head back over here on the left side of these 2. Switching over to the cyan terracotta on the left side of these 2 black walls, we're going to be adding 2 cyan terracottas going to the left. So that's 1, 2. Now once you've done that, we're going to be switching back over to the gray wall. So let's switch over to the gray wall. And we're going to be adding 1 gray wool underneath the right block of these 2 terracotta. So right there, just 1 gray wool. And we're going to head up here to the left and fill in this small space right here with the gray wool. Let's fill this in with gray. And then once we've done that, we're going to be switching over to the cyan terracotta. And we're not the cyan terracotta, sorry. Well, yeah, the cyan terracotta. What am I saying? Okay. We're going to be filling in this empty space that's right here with the cyan terracotta. So let's go ahead and do that now. Getting the blocks mixed up, or at least their names. Okay, there we go. Fly back a bit so you can see that it should look exactly like this. Now we're going to move up. We're going to start work on this little section right here, the small one, and we're going to need the cyan terracotta for this. So starting at the very top, which is underneath this block of coal, add 1 cyan terracotta, so that's 1. Over here to the right, starting underneath the right block of these 3 black walls, starting from there, we're going to be adding 2 terracottas going to the left, that's 1, 2. Now underneath the right block of the terracottas, from there, we're going to be adding 1 terracotta, so that's 1. Now we're going to move over here to the bottom left corner of this empty space, and we're going to be adding 1 terracotta. So that's 1. Now let's head up here to the right a bit, going to these 2 black walls. Underneath it, we're going to be adding 1 terracotta, so that's 1. And now we're going to switch over to the light gray wall for this next part. Switching over to the light gray wall, we're going to start down here, down to the left, next to, or I should say not really next to, but starting from this cyan terracotta, starting from there. With the light gray wool, we're going to be placing 3 blocks going diagonal up to the right, so that's 1, 2, and 3. Now let's get rid of those placement blocks. Now starting on top of the right block of these 2 black walls, so starting from there, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going diagonal up to the right, so that's 1 and 2. And then once we've done that, we're going to be switching over to the stone block, and we're going to be filling in these empty spaces right here with the stone. So let's fill this in with stone. And once you've done with that, it should be looking like this. Okay, we got a few parts to go. Some of them don't really require that much because we've already outlined them. For instance, let's switch over to the cyan terracotta, and we're going to be filling in this empty spot right here with the cyan terracotta. So let's fill this in. There we go, fill that in, and now we're going to work on this area, which requires some attention. So we're going to switch over to the red wall, and we're going to start off by going up here to the 3 block of coals. On the left side of it, we're going to be adding 1 red wall, so that's 1. And switch over to the pink terracotta and add 1 pink underneath it, so that's 1. Then we're going to be switching over to the stone block. So let's switch over to the stone block now. And with the stone block, we're going to start on the left side of the pink, and we're going to be adding 2 stones going to the left, so that's 1, 2. And now we're going to be placing a linked 2 blocks going across on the lower level to the left, so a linked, so that's 1 and 2. Now starting on the right side of these 2 linked, so starting from here, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going diagonal down to the right. So that's 1 and 2. Once you've done that, we're going to head back up here to this pink terracotta, and underneath it, we're going to be placing 1 stone block. So that's 1. And once we've done all of that, we're going to be switching back over to the red wool, and we're going to move over here to this 1 block of coal. On the left side of it, we're going to be adding 1 red wool. So that's 1. And then, once we've done all of that, we're going to be switching over to the cyan terracotta, and we're going to be filling in the remaining empty spaces here with the terracotta. So let's fill all of this in with the cyan terracotta. Fill that all up. And when you're done filling it in, it should look exactly like this. Now we're going to go down here and start working on this area. And I guess we could start off by actually outlining it, or at least finishing the outline that we started a while back. So let's go ahead and switch over to the black wool. And you know what? We're going to start from those 3 block of coals that we have here, going down to the right, that stick out from the mask. So we're going to start from there to make this a little easier. So starting from this block of coal, right there, we're going to be placing 3 black wools going across on the lower level to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3. Once you've done that, you're going to be placing from here 4 sets of 2s going across on the upper level to the right. That's 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 4. Let's go ahead and get rid of those placement blocks. Head back up here. And from here, we're going to be placing 1 block going up to the right. So that's 1. And now place 2 blocks going across on the upper level to the right. That's 1, 2. And now 1 block going up to the right. That's 1. And now 2 blocks going across on the upper level to the right. That's 1, 2. And now we're going to be placing 2 blocks going diagonal up to the right. That's 1 and 2. Once you've done that, you're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the upper level to the right. That's 1, 2. And now starting on the left side of these two black walls, so starting from here, we're going to be placing one block going up to the left. So that's one. And now place two blocks going up on the left. That's 1, 2. Once you've done that, you're going to be switching over to a placement block. Put a placement block on top of the two black walls. So put one placement block there on top of the two. Switch over to the black walls starting on the left side of the placement. So starting from there, we're going to be placing 3 black walls going diagonal down to the left. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Get rid of those placements. Fly back a bit so you can see that it should look exactly like this. And then once we've done that, what we're going to be doing from here is placing 2 sets of 2s going across on the lower level to the left. So that's 1, 2, 1, and 1, 2, 2. And now we're going to be switching over to a placement block. Put a placement block on the left side of these 2 black walls. Put 1 placement block there. Then we're going to be switching back over to the black wall, starting underneath the placement. So from there with the block, we're going to be placing 4 blocks going diagonal down to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it should be making contact with the top block of the left block of these 2 black walls, making it look like an L shape. So let's go ahead and get rid of the placement blocks. And now we're going to leave this alone for now. We're going to get back to where we left off, which is at these 2 black walls. So going back to these 2 black walls, we're going to start from the right block of it. So starting from here, we're going to be placing 5 blocks going diagonal up to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those placements. And now, before we continue this area, we're going to start from the middle block of the 5. So, of the 5 black walls that we just placed, we're going to start from the middle block of it. So, starting from here, the middle, we're going to be placing 1 black wall going up to the left. So, that's 1. And now we're going to be placing 3 blocks going across on the upper level to the left. That's 1, 2, 3. So now let's head back over here, back to the top block of these 5 black walls, going back to the right. So from here, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the upper level to the right. So that's 1, 2. And now starting on top of the left block of the 3 blocks, so starting from here, on top of the left of the 2, we're going to be placing a linked 2 black walls going to the left. So that's 1 and 2. So it should be connected because it's linked. And now you're just going to be placing a regular 2 blocks going across on the upper level to the left. So that's 1 and 2. Now we're going to head back over here to the right, going back to the 2 black walls. So starting from this block here, we're going to be placing 3 black walls going across on the upper level to the right. That's 1, 2, 3. Next, we're going to be placing 3 black walls going diagonal down to the right. That's 1, 2, and 3. And it should be making contact with the 8 black walls that we have right here. So now let's go back up here, going back to the 3 black walls. On top of the left block of the 3, we're going to be adding 1 black wall, so that's 1. And now from this 1 block, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the upper level to the left. That's 1, 2. Next, we're going to be placing 1 block going up to the left. That's 1. And now we're going to head back over here to the left. Going back down, or not the left, but going back down here to the right, we're going to switch over to the placement block. We're going to be putting a placement block on top of this black wall of these 3 that we placed here. So put 1 placement block on top of it. Then we're going to be switching back over to the black wall and starting on top of the placement blocks. From there, we're going to be placing 5 blocks going diagonal up to the left. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's go ahead and get rid of those placement blocks now. And we're going to head back up here to the left. And from here, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the upper level to the left. That's 1 and 2. I'll fly back a bit so you can see that it should look exactly like this. Now we're going to head back over here to the left. We're going to do a little outlining. And hopefully we can go ahead and find our bearings. So we're going to go back to where we started with the black wall outline. That we did all of that. So going back to these first 3 black walls that we had here going across, we're going to move 1 up to the right, which is landing us here at these 2 black walls. Again, making contact with these 3. So we're going to start from these 2 black walls, and we're going to start from the left block of it. So starting from here, from this block, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going diagonal up to the left. So that's 1 and 2. Next, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going up on the left. That's 1 and 2. And now we're going to be placing 2 sets of 2s going across on the upper level to the right. So that's 1, 2, 1, and 1, 2, 2. Let's get rid of those placements. Head back up here. And from here, we're going to be placing just 2 blocks going across on the upper level to the right. That's 1 and 2. And then we're going to be adding on just 1 black wool on top of the right block of these 2 black wools that we just placed. So add 1 black wool on top of the right. So that's 1. And now starting from the right block of these 2 black wools, so going back to this block here, we're going to be placing 3 black wools going. We're going to be placing 3 black wools going down on the right. So that's 1, 2, 3. And now starting from the bottom block of these 3 on the right side, we're just going to be adding 1 black wool to the right. So that's 1. So it looks like an L shape. So I'll fly back a bit so you can see that it should look exactly like this. Now we're going to head back here down to the left, and we're going to go back again to these 3 black wools. So starting from the left block of these 3, so starting from there, we're going to be placing 3 black wools going across on the lower level to the left. So that's 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to be placing 1 black wool on top of the middle block of these 3 black wools. Just place 1 black wool on top of the middle, so that's 1. Or just 1. And while we're here, let's just quickly switch over to the gray wool. Just fill in that small space right there with the gray. Just fill that in. And yeah, we'll wait. Yeah, we'll wait. We'll come back to the filling in part here and there. I just want to get the black wool outline done first, and then we'll see how much filling in part. So you know what? We'll just take away the gray wool. Let's focus on the black wool. We're going to start on the left side of these 3 black wools. So starting from there, we're going to be placing 2 sets of 2s going across on the lower level to the left. That's 1, 2, 1, and 1, 2, 2. That's 2 sets of 2s. So yeah, place 2 sets of 2, so it should look exactly like this. Okay, so now we're going to be switching over to the block of coal for this next part. Let's put away some of the, in fact, let's put away all of them. There we go. We're going to be switching over to the block of coal. Now from here, we're going to be placing 3 blocks going across on the lower level to the left. That's 1, 2, 3. And let's quickly switch over to the black wool again. Switching over to the black wool, we're going to be placing 4 blocks going across on the lower level to the left. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to be placing 4 blocks going up on the left. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's head back down, get rid of that placement block, and let's just quickly switch over to the red wool, because this is kind of like a weird block that stands out. And let's place 1 red wool underneath the 4 black wools. Just place 1 red wool there, because this entire area right here doesn't even require red wool, except for that 1 small spot. Okay, now that we've done that, we're going to be switching back over to the block of coal. So let's switch back over to the block of coal, and we're going to head back over here to the right, going back to the 3 block of coals we had here going across. We're going to start underneath the middle block of the 3, so from there, we're going to be adding 4 block of coals going down. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And now what we're going to be doing is placing 9 blocks going diagonal down to the right. So that's 9, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4... 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9 blocks. That's 9 block of coals. So let's go ahead and get rid of the placements. And head back down here. And from here, we're going to be placing, from the bottom block of these 9, we're going to be placing 6 sets of 2s going down on the right. So that's 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 5, and 1, 2, 6. Let's go ahead and get rid of those placements. Head back down here. And from here, we're going to be placing 3 blocks going down on the right. That's 1, 2, 3. And now 1 block going down to the right. That's 1. And now place 2 blocks going across on the lower level to the right. That's 1, 2. And now we're going to quickly switch over to the black wool. And now with the black wool, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the lower level to the right. So that's 1, 2. Now, starting back from the right block of these 2 blocks of coal, so starting from here again, this time we're going to go on the upper level. So from here, we're going to be placing 6 blocks going across on the upper level to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's get rid of the placements. Head back over here to the right. And from here, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the upper level to the right. So that's 1 and 2. And now we're going to be placing 2 blocks going diagonal up to the right. That's 1 and 2. And now we're going to be placing 4 blocks going up on the right. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you've done that, you're going to be placing 2 blocks going diagonal up to the right. That's 1 and 2. Let's get rid of those placements. And while we're here, let's switch over to the placement block. We're going to start on top of the 4 black walls that we just placed here. So starting on top of it. So that means right here. We're going to be placing 4 placements going up. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now let's switch over to the black wall. Starting on top of the placements, we're going to be adding 2 sets of 3s going across on the upper level to the left, starting on top of it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1, and 1, 2, 3, 2. Let's get rid of those placements. Head back up here. And from here, starting on top of the left block of the 3 blacks, we're going to be placing 1 placement block. So, or 1 black wall. So that's 1. And now from this 1, we're going to be placing 3 blocks going across on the upper level to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3. Next, you're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the lower level to the right. That's 1, 2. And now 1 block going down to the right. That's 1. Next, we're going to be switching over to the gray wall, and we're going to be filling in this empty space right here with the gray wall. So let's fill this in with gray. And it should look exactly like this. Once we've done that, we're going to be switching over to the black wall. I'm going to be doing a little outlining here and there with the black wall. So let's head all the way down here, starting off by going to the 2 block of coals once again, starting on the left side of it. So from there, we're going to be placing right there. We're going to be placing with the black wall 2 blocks going diagonal up to the left. So that's 1 and 2. And once we've done that, let's see. Give me a second. Yeah, we might as well start kind of filling in this general area. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to head back to the 6 black walls that we had here going across. We're going to start on the left side of the 6, so starting from this block. We're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the upper level to the left. So that's 1, 2. And now you're going to be placing 2 blocks going up on the left. So that's 1 and 2. And now from here, we're going to be placing, let me just take a good look. Yeah, we might as well fill this in before we continue. Let's switch over to the red wall. Fill in this small space right here underneath the 2 black walls with red. Let's fill that in with red. Then you're going to be switching over to switch back over to the black wall. We're going to head back up here, going back to the top block of these 2 black walls. Now, from here, we're going to be placing 5 sets of 2s going up. Oh, wait, not 5 sets of 2s. Whoops, that's my 6 sets of 2s, not 5. Starting from here, we're going to be placing 6 sets of 2s going up on the left. So, that's 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 5, and 1, 2, 6. And you can see that we've reached this area. And now from here, we're going to be placing only 6 black walls going diagonal up to the left. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And once we've done that, we're going to head back up here to the left. Going back to the 3 block of coals that we had here going across, we're going to start underneath the right block of these 3. So starting from there, we're going to be adding 4 black walls going down. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Once you've done that, you're going to be switching over to a placement block, and we're going to be placing a placement block on the right side of this block of coal that's making contact with the 4 black walls. So put 1 placement block there, next to that block of coal. Switch over to the black wall and add 1 black wall on the right side of the block of coal. So that's 1. Get rid of the placement block, fly back a bit so you can see that it should look like this. Now, what we're going to be doing next is switching back over I guess, to the black wool, and we're going to head back over here. Going back to the 4 block of coals we had, we're going to start underneath it. So starting from there with the black wool, we're going to be placing 9 black wools going diagonal down to the right. So 9 diagonal down to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Next, you're going to be placing 2 blocks going down the right. That's 1 and 2. And now we're going to be switching over to the gray wool and add 1 gray wool underneath the black wool. So that's 1 gray. Switch back over to the black. On the right side of the gray, we're going to be adding 2 sets of 2s going down on the right. So that's 1, 2, 1, and 1, 2, 2. Now place 1 black wool going down to the right. That's 1. And switch over to the gray, add 1 gray underneath the black. So that's 1. Switch back over to the black, add 1 black going down to the right. That's 1. And then switch back over to the gray, add 1 gray underneath the black, so that's 1. Switch back over to the black, add 1 black going down to the right, that's 1. Switch back over to the gray, add 1 gray underneath the black, so that's 1. And then switch back over to the black, add 1 black going down to the right, that's 1. And then switch back over to the gray, and now from here we're going to be adding 2 grays going down, so that's 1 and 2. So I'll fly back a bit so you can see that it should look exactly like this. And now we're going to move to this 1 black wool that's underneath these 3 block of coals. So move to this 1 black wool here. Starting underneath it, so from there we're going to be adding 2 grays going down, so that's 1, 2. And then place 1 block going down to the left. That's 1. Now you're going to be switching over to the cyan terracotta, and we're going to be adding 1 terracotta on the right side of this 1 gray wool. So that's 1. And now from here, we're going to skip a space, skip a block of coal, and we're going to be placing 1 terracotta on top of this block of coal. So you can see that we left a gap. We left 1 block gap in between these 2 terracottas, so it should look like this. Now we're going to switch over to the stone block. And with the stone on the right side of the terracotta, from there, we're going to be adding 3 stones going to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3. Once you've done that, you're going to switch over to the gray wool, and we're going to be filling in this empty space that's right here. Fill this in with gray. And it should look like this. Now that we've done that, we're going to head back over here to the left, and just to avoid any confusion, let's just quickly switch over to the nether brick. Alright. Switch over to the nether brick just real quick, and well, not the let's see, maybe not the nether brick. We're gonna switch over to the netherrack. Alright, switching over to the netherrack. We're gonna be filling in this empty space that's right here with the netherrack. Let's fill this in with netherrack. So it looks like this. Alright, and we're gonna head back over here to the left. We're going to switch over to the gray wool. With the gray wool, going back to this 1 other gray wool, right there, we're going to be placing 1 gray going up to the left. That's 1. Once you've done that, you're going to be switching back over to the stone block. Now with the stone block, we're going to start down here at the very bottom left corner, which is on top of this block of coal. So right there with the stone block, we're going to be placing 3 stones going up. That's 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to be placing 4 blocks going up on the left. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And now 3 blocks going up on the left. That's 1, 2, 3. Now once you've done that, we're going to head back down here. We're going to be switching over to the gray wool again. And with the gray wool, we're going to go back to these other 2 black, or not black, but these other 2 gray wools that we placed underneath this 1 black wool. So going back there, not to be confused with down there, we already filled that area here. So going to these 2 grays. So from there, we're going to be adding 1 black wool going down to the left. So that's 1. And now place 1 block going up to the left. That's 1. Next, we're going to be switching over to the cyan terracotta. We're going to head back up here. Let's find that 1 gray wool. I'll fly back a bit so you can see. It's just 1 gray wool that's by itself. Fill in this small space underneath it with a cyan terracotta. So fill that in. And now all the other empty spaces down there, below it, get filled in with the cyan terracotta as well. So let's fill all of this down here with the cyan terracotta. There we go. So when you're done filling it in, it should look exactly like this. Now we're going to head back up here, and we're going to be switching over to the pink terracotta for just a moment. And we're going to head back to the 4 block of coals that we have here going across. You can see that we also have some terracotta on top of it. So going up here to the left, finding these 4 terracottas, we're going to start underneath this block of coal that's making contact also with the black wall that's right here. So starting from there, with the, not cyan terracotta, but with the pink terracotta, we're going to be adding 2 pinks going down, so that's 1 and 2. Then we're going to be switching back over to the gray wall, and starting from the bottom block on the left, we're going to be adding 1 gray wall, so that's 1. And then place 1 block going up to the left. That's 1. Now once you've done that, you're going to be heading down here. First, we're going to be switching over to the black wall. And with the black wall, going down here to this one but this 1 block of coal that's making contact with these other block of coals here, these 7 block of coals. We're going to go to this 1 block of coal making contact with the 7. We're going to start on top of it with the black wool by placing 2 black wools going up. So that's 1 and 2. And now starting from the bottom block of these 2 black wools, so from there we're going to be placing 5 black wools going diagonal down to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it should look exactly like this. Now once you've done that, we're going to be switching back over to the gray wool. And starting on the right side of the black wool down here that we just left off with, we're going to be placing 1 gray wool, so that's 1. And now place 1 gray wool going up to the right, so that's 1. And now we're going to switch over to the cyan terracotta, and we're going to be placing 1 cyan terracotta underneath this gray wool, so that's 1. And then switch over to the black wool. Add 1 black wool underneath the cyan terracotta. So that's 1 black. And we're going to do a little pattern here. Now, from these 2 block of coals here, on the right side of it, we're going to be adding 1 black wool. So that's 1. And then we're going to be going down here to these 2 block of coals, and on the right side, we're going to be adding 1 black wool. So that's 1. And that's about it. So now we're going to head back up here. We're going to switch over to the cyan terracotta again, and we're going to start on top of the gray wall. So starting from there, we're going to be placing 3 blocks going diagonal down to the right. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Once you've done that, we're going to be switching back over to the gray wall. Starting on the left side of the terracotta, so starting from there, we're going to be placing 3 grays going diagonal up to the right. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And now switch over to the terracotta and place 1 cyan terracotta underneath this gray wall. So that's 1. Once you've done that, we're going to be placing another cyan terracotta on top of this gray wall. So that's 1. Switch over to the gray wool, add 1 gray wool on top of the terracotta. So that's 1 gray. And also add 1 gray wool on the left side of the terracotta. So that's 1 gray. Now we're going to head over here to the left, going to these 4. We're still here at these 4 black wools. We're going to start underneath the left block of it by adding 1 gray wool, so that's 1. And then we're going to be placing 1 gray wool going down to the right, so that's 1. Once we've done that, we're going to head back over here to the left. Going back to these 2 black wools here that we had going up, we're going to start on top of the 2 black wools. Starting from there, with the gray wool, we're going to be placing 3 grays going diagonal down to the right. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So now I'm going to fly back a bit so you can see that it should look exactly like this so far. Because now we're going to be switching over to the gray wool. Now, with the gray wool, or, there we go, the gray wool. Let's switch over to the gray wool. With the gray wool, we're going to move to these 2 empty spaces that are right here. We're going to be filling in these 2 empty spaces here with the gray wool. So fill this and this with gray. So it should look like this. And now we're going to switch over to the cyan terracotta. We're going to move all the way back up here to the left. We're going to find these 2 empty spaces here. Fill these 2 empty spaces with the cyan terracotta. So fill this and this with terracotta. And then directly from it, underneath it, go down and fill in that 1 small space there with the terracotta. So fill that in. And then we're also going to be filling in this empty space that's right here with the cyan terracotta. So fill this in. Fly back a bit. Alright, and once we've done that, we're also going to be filling in this empty space that's right here, staying within the outline. We're going to be filling this in with the cyan terracotta. So let's fill this in. And now that we've done that, we're going to be switching over to the gray wool. And with the gray wool, we're going to be filling in this empty space that's right here with the gray wool. So let's go ahead and fill this entire space right here with the gray. Fill this right up. Fly back a bit so you can see that it should look exactly like this. And once we've done that, we're going to head back up here now. We're going to start working on these empty pocket of spaces and all that stuff that we left behind. We're going to start off by this area, and to start it off, we're going to start off with the gray wall since we already have that in our hand. Going back to these 3 block of coal, starting on the left side, we're going to be adding 1 gray wool, so that's 1. And while we're at it, starting on top of the right block of these 3 block of coals, we're going to be adding 1 gray wool on top, so that's 1 gray. And once we've done that, we're going to head back over here, going back to the top-ish, to the right. We're going to start next to this block of coal here, since it's a theme. So starting on the left side of it, right there, we're going to be placing 3 gray wools going diagonal down to the left from it. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And it should look exactly like this so far, because now what we're going to be doing next involves us switching back over to the black wool. So let's switch over to the black wool, and we're going to move to this 1 block of coal that's making contact with the gray. So starting on the left side of it, so starting from there, we're going to be adding 2 sets of 2s going across on the lower level to the left with black wool. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. That's 2 sets of 4s. So it should look like that. Let's go to the placement. Switch over to the gray wool. Add 1 gray on the left side of these 4 here. So add 1 gray wool there. Then we're going to move over here to the left, moving to these 2 block of coals. Underneath the left block of the 2, we're going to be adding 1 gray wool. So that's 1. And then place 1 gray wool going down to the left. That's 1. Once you've done that, we're going to head back up here to the right, going back to these 2 empty spaces that we left behind. On the left side of these 2 empty spaces, we're going to be adding 1 gray wool to each on the left. So add 1 gray to the left of this empty space, and add 1 gray wool to the left of this empty space. Once you've done that, you're going to be switching over to the black wool, and we're going to be filling in those 2 remaining empty spaces there with the black. So fill this and this with black wool. And now we're going to be switching over to the stone block for just a moment. So let's switch over to the stone, and to start this off, we're going to go back to the 1 gray wool that's on the left side of these 4 down here. So going to these 4 here, and then we have that gray. Put a placement block underneath the gray wool, so put 1 placement block there. Switch over to the stone blocks, starting underneath the placement blocks. So from there, we're going to be placing 3 stone blocks going diagonal down to the left. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Let's get rid of those placements now. And now we're going to be putting a placement block up here, to the top block of these 3 stones that we just placed on the right side. We're going to be putting a placement block, so that's 1. Switch over to the gray wool. And now with the gray wool, we're going to be adding 1 gray wool underneath the... Okay, give me a sec. 1 gray wool underneath the placement block, and also 1 gray wool on the right side of the placement block. So that's 1. So it should look like this. And now we can go ahead and get rid of the placement, and we're going to be switching back over to the placement again. And now on the right side of this gray wool up here, we're going to be putting a placement block on the right side, so that's 1. And now switch back over to the gray, starting on the right side of the placement block. So starting from there, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going diagonal up to the right. So that's 1 and 2. Let's go ahead and get rid of the placement blocks now. And once you've done that, you're going to be switching over to the cyan terracotta. Now with the cyan terracotta, we're going to be filling in the entire empty space that's right here with the terracotta. Of course, staying within the outline. That's why I had you outline the black wool stuff first, so we can go ahead and take this in sections. Makes it so much easier compared to when I used to do the tutorials like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, where I kind of outlined everything in black and never actually filled it in, which was a nightmare. So outlining stuff and then filling it in as we go seems the best way to avoid any mistakes. Okay, so now we're going to work on this empty spot right here. And to do that, we're going to start off with the stone block. And with the stone, we're going to head down here to this 1 block of coal. We're going to start on top of it. Starting from there, we're going to be adding 2 stones going to the right. So that's 1 and 2. And now add one stone block on top of the right block of these two. So add one stone block there. So we have like a backwards L shape here. Once you've done that, you're going to be switching over to the pink terracotta and add one pink on the right side of the two stones. So add one pink there. And then place one pink going down to the right. So that's one. Now let's head back up here to this empty space up here. And underneath this gray wool to the top right, we're going to be adding one pink clay. So that's one. Or pink terracotta. And then once you've done that, you're going to be switching over to the where are you? The cyan terracotta. And we're going to be filling in this empty spot and this empty spot down there with the two terracottas. So fill this empty spot and this empty spot with terracotta. So I'll fly back a bit so you can see it should look like this. And you know what? While we're at it, while we still have the cyan terracotta in our hands, these four empty spaces right here between the black wool, 1, 2, 3, and 4, these four up here get filled in with the terracotta. So let's go ahead and just fill those in now to avoid any fill-in confusion. So it should look like that. And what we're going to be doing next, let's see, because I want to avoid all confusion at all costs. I guess we can do these little spots right here. So again, to avoid any confusion, we're going to switch over to the nether brick. And with the nether brick, what I want you to do is find these two black wools here. They're making contact with this kind of, looks like a backwards C shape if you kind of look at it. So going to these two black wools, underneath it, we're going to be placing one nether brick. So that's one. And then place one nether brick going down to the right from it. So that's one. Now, once you've done that, you're going to be switching over to the nether rack. So let's switch over to the nether rack and fill in this empty space right here with the nether rack. So fill that in. And then we're going to be switching over to the nether brick. Let's see. There's a lot of switching back and forth. Hang on. And you're going to be filling in this empty spot right here with the nether brick. And then once you've done that, you're going to be switching back over to the nether rack. And with the nether rack, we're going to be filling in these four empty spaces here with the nether rack. So let's fill those in. Nether rack. I'll fly back a bit so you can see that it should look exactly like this. Alright, so now we're going to head back down here to the left. We're going to go ahead and continue the outlining here. Doesn't look like we're going to be having enough time to finish all of it, but you know what, we'll do this last one before we end it, because I still have to do a lot of stuff before we get to other things. Okay, so we're going to switch over to the pink terracotta. And we're going to go down here to these two black wools on top of the left block, so right there, we're going to be placing 3 pink terracottas going diagonal up to the left, so that's 1, 2, 3, whoops, that's 3. And now switch over to the gray wool, add 1 gray wool on top of the pink terracotta, so that's 1. Now we're going to head up here to these two black wools that are making contact with that pink, or that's making contact with the gray. On the right side of the two blacks, we're going to be adding 1 gray wool, so that's 1. And then place 1 gray wool going down to the right. That's 1. Next, you're going to be placing 1 gray wool going down to the left. That's 1. And now that we've done that, we're going to head down here to these two black wools, and we're going to start on top of the left block. So starting from there, we're going to be adding 1 gray wool on top of the left block, so that's 1. And then place 1 gray going up to the right. That's 1. And now we're going to move over here to the right. You can see that we have these 2 empty spaces, or it's just 1 empty space that fits 2 blocks. To the right side of it, on, or you could say on the left side of these 2 black wools, we're going to be placing 1 gray wool, so that's 1. Once you've done that, we're going to head up here to the left to this kind of backwards C shape that we had here earlier. From these 2 black wools underneath the right block, we're going to be placing 1 gray wool, so that's 1. So underneath the right, so it should look exactly like this. Now once you've done that, switch over to the cyan clay, or terracotta, and fill this empty space here with the cyan. So fill that in. And once you're at, let's see, yeah, once we've done that, all we really have to do now for this entire space right here, this 1, 2, 3, those 3 get filled in with the cyan terracotta, so let's just go ahead and fill those in right now. Let's fill that right up. And now we're going to fly back a bit so you can see that everything should look exactly like this so far. So I'm going to go ahead and pause here and continue my Kylo Ren Minecraft pixel art tutorial in the next part. And to be honest with you, this kind of feels like it's short, but at the same time, we've got a lot of stuff crammed in here. Mostly because I decided to instruct you pretty quickly, or at least in my opinion. Let me know how you feel about this rate of, by rate, I mean the speed I was instructing you in. I don't feel like it was going too fast, especially since you guys have already done a lot of my pixel arts in the past. I feel like you guys can keep up with this pace. But yeah, definitely let me know if this is a okay pace to go. I can slow it down a bit, but I definitely want to cram in as much as I can so I don't make these tutorial parts extremely long and don't have you guys waiting on weeks and months on end for next parts of this and that. So yeah, that's it. I just want to give a quick shout out before I go to my gamer tag. If you guys are on Xbox Live, follow me. My gamer tag is Felix Guaman YT. Go ahead and send me a message and add me to your friends list. And while you're on the Xbox, make sure to check out my Pixel Art Club. It's the best place for me to check out all the pixel arts that you guys have done when it comes to doing my tutorials, finishing other people's tutorials, or maybe just making a pixel art all up on your own. It's, again, the best place for me to check out your pixel arts and post them. So I also want you guys to be aware that I am starting to live stream a little more on YouTube, so make sure to check that out as well. So with all that being said, make sure to stay tuned in for the next part of the Kylo Ren Minecraft pixel art tutorial, and make sure to stay tuned in for more Minecraft videos.